Hello, everyone, and welcome to DLT and Biscuits. How are you doing? We're
Hi.
very, very pleased to be back. I'm joined today by Charlotte. Oh, you're on that side. And we'll hopefully, fingers crossed, be joined by Stephen very soon. He's just getting himself out of a meeting. You know what it's like, schools and that. How are you doing, Charlotte? How's things? It's been a while since our last podcast, hasn't it?
I'm all right, thank you. I am just back off. So we've just been back in this week after another period of isolation with my poor class, with the bubble having to go down. So that was unwelcome, I want to say. I've been quite enjoying being back in class. But it was a good chance to kind of put into practice all the different things that I've learned about remote learning kind of since being in this team and all the things that I've learned and new things to try. So that was quite exciting.
Excellent, yeah.
And I definitely did a better job this time than I did the first time around. I've got to say now that I'm a bit
more prepared.
bit more knowledgeable about it all. Yeah, a few more different engagement ideas. So it was fine. But yeah, you know what it's like. Final half term of year 6.
Yeah,
Bonkers,
snap.
isn't it? Final half term of any year, I think, is
Mhm.
bonkers. So it's just manic busy at the minute at work, but all
Yeah,
good, all good things.
it is. I'm year six as well, so it is. It's just keeping them sort of just calm and just as sort of chilled as possible. But it's all those conversations about like, oh well, what's the secondary's going to be like and all of this, and I think just emotions kind of just run high this time of year with the sixes, doesn't it?
Definitely. And it's definitely an exciting time because we can do lots of fun stuff with it being near the end of the year. But like you say, it's keeping everybody emotionally regulated and
Yeah,
at a level that's appropriate for a classroom. But yeah,
definitely.
I'm good. I'm good, thank you. And how are you? Other than very, very busy.
Yes, all really good. Touch wood, we haven't had to pop any bubbles yet. And I'm touching lots of wooden things at the minute.
Yeah, don't jinx it.
But yeah, I don't want to jinx it, but yeah, we've kind of survived. We've made it through. Um, we're in a great place in terms of that. If we do need to go to it as a school, that we're really strong in what we think our remote learning offer is. Our struggle is with like sort of pupil engagement and things, just to make sure that if they're having to isolate or things, just making sure they're joining in with the learning as much as they possibly can. Obviously working with High Tide and people getting all those routers out there and making sure the Wi-Fi is up and running. That's been great, and obviously through DLT, we've been able to kind of facilitate that as well. So yeah, we're in a great position, and which I am ready for a summer holiday. I'm ready for that.
Me too. I'm sure there's not a teacher in the land that is going to say, "Oh, well, I wish we had another couple of weeks of this half term left."
Yeah, yeah. So yes, today we are going to just have a quick recap of our last podcast. We had loads and loads of content in that. It was my turn to sort of take center stage for a little while, and sort of run through um, the way that we at Jesmond Gardens use code and apps for our computing curriculum. I know, Charlotte, you said you've been sort of working on your new computing curriculum for September.
Mhm.
And I've been doing the same thing really. I've been sort of tweaking and trying to change and just innovate all the time to constantly try and improve what we do. Um, Interestingly, we talk about it. One of our staff today was doing a coding lesson, and she put her head into my classroom and said, "Oh, by the way, just to let you know, one of the apps that we use, like one of the core apps that we really rely on in year 3, the developer hasn't updated it for this iOS, so it just didn't work." But that is just part of what we do. We troubleshoot. So what I'm going to look at doing is, if that isn't rectified by September, is I'm going to try and sort of dive deeper into one of the other apps and see how much we can get out of that in terms of computational thinking and problem solving, and just see if we can stretch that across 2 year groups. To be honest, I'm not really one for saying, and I think I said this in the previous podcast. I'm not one for saying, you know, year 1 have to use this app, and that's all they're allowed to use. Year 2 have to use this app because that's like the next progression on. Our curriculum is progressive and it's great, but if you've got your high flyers, or the ones that need a little bit more support, or the ones that just want to play around with something different, if they get bored of the same sort of interface, then that's the beauty of having a wide range of apps available to them. Um, just to be able to jump in between them all. Sorry, it's my watch pipping out. Um, So yeah, it was a bit of a challenge today, but we got there. We got through it. So yeah, the sort of overview that I gave was 6 core apps for the curriculum from kind of year 1 over to year 6. And since then, I've decided after that to sort of build on the year 6 side of things. I did say it was a bit of an endpoint using Swift Playgrounds. And I'm just going to share my screen with you because I've actually brought up our YouTube channel because I've been busy away on my evenings and my weekends, making a
Yeah.
little bit more a little bit more content for teachers just to have a bit of a better understanding of what it's like. So let me just do that with you now. Share screen and that one there. So this is our YouTube channel, and as you can see, it's vastly expanding all the time. We have loads and loads of views, and people are leaving nice comments and things. But what I want to draw everyone's attention to is just the fact that over the last couple of days, I've been just dropping in videos, particularly focused around coding, and they're all there for you. I think I've got probably one more video that I want to make, so it's a 5-part series on Swift Playgrounds, looking at something a little bit trickier. So do watch out for that in the next couple of weeks. I'm going to try and do that maybe middle of next week, possibly next weekend. So yeah, the coding curriculum itself is all structured, and obviously we as a team are here for you guys as teaching staff in Hartlepool to try and support you in working out what's best for your school. Um, so Charlotte, obviously after working with your curriculum, how have you found actually sort of structuring your curriculum so that you do have a little bit of progression through the year groups?
So I think that coding is one of those things that the kids absolutely love and that staff can be really, really scared of because it sounds quite techy and it sounds as if you need like loads and loads and loads of subject knowledge to be able to teach it effectively. And
Yeah,
whilst obviously I'm not saying that subject knowledge does not a good teacher make, because of course it does, but you don't need to know every kind of in and out and every type of coding language that there is to be able to teach an effective coding curriculum. So the one that I have kind of written for our school, which is a work in progress at the minute, but it starts in early years with sort of making floor robots move and giving verbal instructions, because I think adults and therefore sometimes our children panic when they hear words like algorithm because they think, oh, that sounds really technical. It's just a set of instructions. It's just a set of clear instructions given in the correct order. So we've kind of started with that. And I'm very much encouraging teachers to start, especially in the early years and in Key Stage 1, kind of start with like an unplugged kind of coding curriculum before you go onto computers. Start with visuals, start with pictures of arrows, start with giving each other instructions to get from one end of the classroom to another, make it fun. So part of what we're doing at my school is kind of trying to build our computing curriculum, like build cross-curricular links with other things where they fit. So for example, in year 1, they are going to be using B-bots for their coding curriculum, but they are going to be designing a map of the school in geography. And then we're going to use those maps of our school to make floor mats and program the B-bots with. So it's all about that. They'll be building that kind of computational language, like drip. It'll be drip fed from the start. And again, I think things like debugging and sort of, it really makes people freak out because they think, I don't know what that means. And it's just solving a problem. It's literally just solving a problem. And I think the earlier our children get used to that kind of language, the less scared they're going to be when they get up to year 6 and they're doing Mindstorms and there's so many great kind of resources and websites out there. Obviously, there's the apps. The Raspberry Pi have got a brilliant like unplugged coding curriculum on their website, which is fantastic. So I've been looking into that. They've also got lots and lots of different, some very technical project examples using Raspberry Pi devices. We use Purple Mash, has got a good coding scheme of work on there.
I've worked with
I also
two code, isn't it? I've worked with that a little bit. I like that.
Yeah, too code and too simple, I think the other one's
Yeah.
called. And you start off with like making a fish move and making a bubble move and things like that. And there's lots of different progressive kind of levels. Then just the Hour of Code website, actually, they've got Minecraft activities on there that have got tutorials for the kids to do. I've loved that this year with my year sixes, because we don't have iPads. So some of our classes have iPads, some of our classes have Android devices. We have got some of the kind of DFE laptops, like Chromebooks and things like that. So we've got like a real mix of devices at our school. So yes, obviously the apps are great for the classes that have got iPads, but we couldn't build a curriculum, unfortunately, just around kind of iPad apps. So it's been interesting to look at the curriculum and look at how to sort of build that progression in there and make sure that there is. But I think you can really start it off really simple, can't you, with just giving instructions and being able to follow instructions, and then you move on to kind of solving problems and breaking your code down and working out which part of your code needs debugging and using Python and things like that. But again, on the Raspberry Pi website, there are tutorials that make even Python really, really easy to start with. And it starts with just presenting text on the computer. And I think one thing that I'm definitely keen on in our curriculum is making it purposeful. So we're not just playing on this coding app because it's a fun app to play on, but this has so many applications.
Well, what the example that you gave about even just your B-bots, although simple, linking that into geography is perfect. But no, like everything that you said is exactly where we as a team want to be supporting as well. So yeah, I totally agree. And someone else who knows a lot about other devices and tablets and things is just waiting in the green room. So I'll bring him in. Good afternoon to Stephen. Hello, Stephen.
Hello, you're all right? Sorry I'm late, guys.
Oh, you're all right.
Hi.
Hello. What have I missed? More than this loads.
No, I absolutely loads. Yeah, we're just slagging. No, we're just we're waxing lyrical about coding. I've discussed very quickly about coding apps and how iPad can sort of really support code and understanding. Charlotte spoke about unplugged and other opportunities using other devices. And we were just talking about sort of curriculum design as well, and just thinking about how we ensure there's a bit of a progression. One thing Charlotte picked up on was the use of language, and to staff, language is a massive barrier. To the children, it can be, but I don't feel it's as scary because they learn so much language at school anyway. When they learn about the subjunctive form, they can learn about decomposition of an algorithm. So it's much more attainable for them, I think. It's just getting over that barrier with staff sometimes.
I think that's the key, isn't it? Staff being comfortable and confident to actually then have a go and not be afraid to fail, because that's what the children are going to do. If you're programming, you're using algorithms and using code and JavaScript, you're going to fail first because you've got to get it wrong to put it right, and that's how you're going to learn.
And that is the fundamentals of coding, isn't it? You test something and you test it and you test it until it achieves the output that you want.
Yeah, totally.
But it builds resilience, doesn't it? It builds confidence, it builds resilience. When they're able to do things, say, on Scratch that they couldn't do before, or design their own avatar or whatever it is. And it actually, I think it is really kind of kid-friendly and user-friendly. And I think as an adult looking at the jargon and thinking, oh my Lord, how am I going to teach all of this? Actually, the kids pick up on it much more easily than us kind of older people do, where we go, oh, well, that's too many buttons for me or whatever. Like it really, I really do like coding, and I think it's so important for kids.
That skill of problem solving can get transferred right across the curriculum. So you're looking at maths, you're looking in science, you're looking at in an investigation. Why is that not working? It's the same premise, isn't it? The same thought.
And for children, it has real, tangible, real-world applications further on. They can link that to what they want to do further on. And 5 or 10 years ago, we might have said, "Oh, well, if you want to be a games designer, you need to learn this." To be honest, if you want to get along in most jobs, you do need a little bit of that understanding of process, of workflow, breaking down things and actually
Yeah,
debugging, solving those problems, working out where the
yeah,
kinks are, to actually access. Then, I mean, I know I get on about sort of my love of all things Apple, but just a few
really,
weeks ago, I might not have mentioned it, but just a few weeks ago at WWDC, their Worldwide Developers Conference, Apple actually announced that they are opening up Mac and iPad and iPhone to all sorts of automation. They're actually allowing users to be able to program simple tasks for their devices to do for them. So I use that on my iPhone anyway. So I've got a bit of scripting on my iPhone. So
yeah,
it uses the location of my phone. So when I arrive at work, it sets my watch face to my watch work. It opens up my work calendar and shows me everything that I need to do that day. And it also puts it into do not disturb. Now that's a simple three-step thing that I've programmed my device to do, but actually the options are limitless for that.
yeah.
And that's available in everyone's pocket, that
Oh,
that the limit.
you're gonna have to tell me how to do that, because
Oh, it
that
it
is just something that you go in and go, that's sorted. Because
well,
how many
uh, uh,
times have you been in saying my watch is on, my phone's on silent or whatever?
yeah,
Right,
yeah. Well,
what you need.
I've got another one. It's just through the Shortcuts app on iOS, but
Yeah,
they're rolling it out to sort of to iPad even further. They're putting it on widgets on iPad, and they're bringing it to
yeah,
Mac as well. But another simple one that I've got is for when I'm reading in bed. The reading in bed shortcut. It brings the brightness down right down on my device. It puts quiet music on in my AirPods in the background, and it puts it into like sort of theater mode, so I won't be disturbed. Just something as simple as that. It's a workflow. It's an automation where I've programmed three simple steps, but click of a button, it's making my life a little bit more efficient. And I
but
mean, this is the type of things that I talk to my class about when we're coding. I'm
yeah,
saying it's not necessarily for learning how to be a computer games designer. If you don't want to do that, I'm teaching you the sort of the basics, the concepts behind
mhm,
breaking down problems and organizing workflows.
yeah, yeah.
So it has real world applications, and it's
I think
very,
it's
very interesting.
Yeah, I think it's the engagement, especially when I've been talking to my class about things like that. It's girls. It's getting because the girls such so much ability and they're just like kind of like no, can't do that, can't do that. And you watch
Yeah,
videos about um, women doing these powerful things, and it's like it's amazing. And obviously to transform the girls, and you can see the inspiration on their faces.
yeah,
And then we obviously say to the boys, "Come on, boys, you can do that as well."
yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
and
So it's like it's breaking those barriers down of like it's not a stereotypical.
yeah,
Coding isn't stereotypical. It used to be,
mhm,
but it's gradually progressing that it's not,
yeah.
and it's obviously showing the children that it's not.
We
Do you know
talked
what I mean?
about in a previous podcast. We talked about the difference between boys and girls, and I went away
Yeah,
and did a little bit of reading around this. I actually found quite a shocking statistic in 2016. Um, Middlesbrough and Teesside, just down
yeah,
the road from where we are, was voted the worst place in the country to be a girl, and that was based on uh, sort of female unemployment,
yeah.
life expectancy, job prospects. It was teenage pregnancies, involvement in crime, um, and actually, although it's something relatively quite small, it's a small drop in the ocean. We need to be looking at our girls and sort of empowering them to sort of break that cycle.
It
I
is.
was I was quite shocked when I read it, but yeah, that was only 2016. But I thought if we can give them a leg up on the competition by giving them some sort of real life, real application skills that can
Yeah,
go straight into jobs, then we are doing our little part
yeah.
um, to try and sort of empower them to do that. So
But I
yeah,
think as we need to inspire all of our learners, don't we? Girls, boys, our SEN, our additional needs, our kind of high flyers, our lower prior attaining, because things like coding, there's no such thing as kind of a sort of previously named lower ability coder, is there? There's
No,
people who
there's
can
no,
do
no,
different
no.
things, and actually the applications of this sort of thing are only limited by what you can imagine, by what you can you can sort of think of, by the ideas that you can come up with. And I think that that's a thing that kids, when you empower them to come up with solutions to a problem, they have better ideas than we do as adults, because they're not thinking about the limitations of the technology that we've already got. They're thinking about how they can solve a problem with the wildest and wackiest idea that will just work, because there are no limits to what they think. And I think, you know, thinking about kind of the applications that way, what could they build with code, and what programs would it need to be able to do? What workflows would their robot or their great invention that's going to solve a problem, what would they need? And actually that is something that, with the right teaching and with the right kind of confidence boost, all children will be able to, you know, figure out steps to solve a problem. And that's an algorithm, isn't it? That's what we're doing. That's programming.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Wait, an example of that, Charlotte, was some of my children were using Flappy Bird and putting the coding in, and he was just saying, "Oh, I'm sick of pressing the spacebar button." So he said, "I wonder if there's a way of just letting the bird just go around." And he actually found a way, so the bird would just fly, and he didn't have to do anything, and he won every time. He said, "I know it's a bit boring, Mr. Molyneux, but I've won." You know what I mean? And I was like, I would never have thought about not doing that. But he was just like, "Oh, I can't be pressing that button going up and down all the time." And he completely changed the program. And I thought, well done you. That's amazing. I'm sure the rest of the class got weird.
We ran a competition a few years ago at school. Sorry if you can hear the sirens in the background. We ran a competition a few years ago in school that was all about coming up with an invention that would solve an environmental problem. So it was either about using energy more effectively, using less energy, or like reducing energy waste. Some of the things that these kids came up with, like floating classrooms that used kind of water turbines to power the classrooms.
Wow.
You know, like devices that would immediately turn kind of food waste into compost, which could then be used for fuel for other things. But actually, to then take that a step further and start to think about what kind of the workflow would be needed to make those inventions become a reality, that's creating a program, isn't it? That's coding. Limitless.
That is the decomposition aspect, isn't it? It's like, right, we've got this big task. How do I break that down into little steps? What's the first thing that needs to happen? What's the next thing? So yeah, exactly. So yeah, it is becoming more and more part of our world, and it is, you know, like I say, for me, I walk around with it in my pocket, and if I've got a repetitive job like pressing the space bar on Flappy Bird, like putting my phone into Do Not Disturb,
Yeah.
why am I doing it when my device can do it for me? You know, a little bit of code, a little bit of scripting, it's done. So
Perfect.
yeah, it's really got potential for the future. It's going to be high profile, even more than it is now. So it's about giving our kids that mindset where they can decompose problems and build.
And transfer them as well, like we said earlier on. Use those transferable skills and go for those jobs now. That in 5 years' time, we're going to change tenfold the jobs. You know what I mean? The way, look at us three here. We're on Zoom. Sorry, on YouTube, watching things, and look at all this online learning where we've been on Zoom and on Teams and all kinds of things. How that changed, no one would have thought about that a year ago.
No.
Yeah, and a bit ago, no one would have ever thought. So
no, it's crazy, really. Yeah. And, you know, when I got a job as a teacher, I never thought my job would entail something like this. It's amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, obviously we've got, you know, loads in the pipeline coming up in the future as well with DLT. If you're watching this and you're thinking, oh, I could really do with a little bit of support, or I've got some really good ideas I'd love to share with the rest of the colleagues in Hartlepool, please just get in touch. Drop us a little comment in the comments below. Get in touch with us on Twitter at DLT Hartlepool. All of our information will be in the description. Or just, you know, we email you guys your newsletters every week. You know, there's lots of ways to sort of reach out and just, even if you just want to say hi, that's all good. That's all good. For the future then, what we're going to do, like I said, I'm going to finish off our Swift Playgrounds little series, which is awesome. I'm looking forward to that final part, because it's it gets deep. It goes in there. So I'm looking forward to seeing the end of that. But also I've had a request from our very own Charlotte for the next series that we
Hey,
do to be based around iMovie, which if you haven't used iMovie before is an iOS. I believe it's iOS only. It must be iOS only.
it is
Um,
absolutely, yeah, yeah.
yeah, I don't think there's like a web-based version of it. But using either Mac, MacBook, or iPad to create videos, just like the ones that we create for our YouTube account. So, yeah, I'm really going to get stuck into that over the summer, I think, and enjoy making those. I might do
Yeah,
a bit
it's
of a mix.
island now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, brilliant. I might do a bit of a mix between what it looks like on Mac and what it looks like on iPad as well, just to give a bit of context, because there are a few little tweaks and changes. Some things the device is better for, the tablet's better for, some things the desktop's better for. So that's really, really nice. Um, and I
We've
think
obviously
this.
got go on, go on.
Oh,
We've
sorry,
obviously
go on,
got the
Steve.
course, haven't we? We've obviously got the course that we're trying to promote as well through Computing the School
Yeah.
Casts,
We do.
leading primary computing. If you haven't already got the email from that, just drop me or Simon or Charlotte a message. And there's money there as well from a bursary,
Yeah,
£370 this year, £370 next year, just
And
for
that's
taking
for,
part, and great CPD, and
yeah,
even better, making links with us as
absolutely.
yeah.
well and across the town.
So that's
And if
for
something
Hartley
that
leads,
you're
isn't it?
good at and you already know, come along and share it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Um,
So we're looking at things like that, aren't we, really, as well? For
yeah,
primary and secondary. I know I've got
yeah,
something to send out from Charlotte as well about secondary, where there's even more money, I do believe, from
Lots
CAST
of
as
yeah.
well.
money.
They
So
did mention there was
there's a lot of more money
yeah.
than
So
for
if you're a
primary.
secondary colleague, please do get
Yeah.
involved on that, because that's a definite must for you guys. I'm sure. So yeah, that's all things to look forward to. We have made links with Northern Lights as well, haven't we? With the facility in Hartlepool. The
Yeah.
three of us are going to go and visit there and see how we can sort of kind of make some links with them and try and get involved and use that as a bit of a hub and sort of direct people towards it if they want any sort of support or just to use their gear.
They've
Because
got loads of lovely resources, haven't they?
they've
Loads
got
that they're willing
loads
to
to
lend out
offer.
each term, which
Yeah,
is fab, free.
yeah, absolutely. So yeah, exciting times coming up. Well, with that being said, I think we'll call it a day there, guys. I know Charlotte,
So,
you have to disappear at 5:30.
I do,
Um,
yes.
so
Unfortunately.
So we've done really well on time. Just one last thing to say. This is probably going to be, because we're in the end of the summer term, it's probably going to be our last DLT&Biscuits for the summer until September. So what's one thing before we go that we're really looking forward to for September? I'll start with Charlotte, 'cause I know you've got to drop off.
I'm really excited about our new curriculum and the way that computing is going to be kind of weaved in and out of other subjects. So if there are any colleagues watching this and they want to have a little look at that curriculum, please do send me an email. I am more than happy to share it, and you can edit it for your own schools, or just use it as a starting point for yours. But I'm very excited about our new computing curriculum.
Brilliant, Stephen.
kind of the same. We're working with EdTech, so obviously you can get that free as well if you contact EdTech, just to look at our primary computing curriculum as well. But I think just kind of making links with other schools from where we've developed in our digital learning team to where we want to go to, and hopefully we get more people on that course, and we just kind of evolve that and people start talking more. That's what
Brilliant.
I'm
Yeah,
really excited about, and sharing that good practice and sharing those resources and kind of stealing Charlotte's ideas about our programming and our planning and things
yeah,
like that. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
just
absolutely.
doing that across the town, because like the three of us, we're talking about things and we're sharing, and it's great because we've got someone with a bit of knowledge on one side who might know
Yeah,
we can't find out, or she can't find out, and then they'll go and find out for us. It's fab. So I'm really excited about that as well, and meeting you two as well for the first time.
yeah,
And, that'll be nice.
we definitely need to be the three of us in the same room at the same time. That would be
Be
weird
lovely.
but lovely. That is mine, Stephen. My big thing for September, hopefully, fingers crossed, the autumn term. I might be able to get out to other schools and get
Yeah,
in, talking to colleagues, talking to kids and teaching kids and working with devices and working
yeah,
with staff, and just bouncing ideas around. It's going to be a really exciting time when you know, those doors do open and we can get in and just say, right, I'm coming in Thursday afternoon. Let's do some coding. Let's do some show me.
Fab.
Let's do some boot creator. So that is going to be that's going to be the big thing for me. I'm chomping at the bit to do that.
Nice.
Awesome. So, well, that all sounds fantastic, and all it leaves me to say is have a wonderful summer. I hope if you are saying goodbye to any children, year sixes, year 11s, I hope everything goes well. Good luck to them, and good luck to the staff for the next couple of weeks, keeping them chilled.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
yeah, thanks very much, guys, and we'll see you in the autumn term. Cheers.
Speak soon. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.